Most novice lifters should have very few plateaus. So when I get questions like, Alex, my bench is stuck at 135 pounds, or I can't budge the 200 squat mark, I really have to question, like, what the fuck are you doing to have plateaus at such an early stage? I don't think these people realize that the novice phase is the easiest part of making gains. There will never be a time like this ever again in your training career unless you decide to hop on drugs. So to tell me that you've been plateauing for months, hard plateaus, you can't break through these basic numbers that anybody can achieve realistically, there's something going on. And it doesn't make sense. It's not right. There's something off. So ask yourself, what are you doing before coming to me? Because I'm going to say that beyond some simple strategies like the 10% deload or slightly reducing volume and all that, it should be a joke to make gains. Linear progression, workout to workout. And on a concurrent routine, gains every single workout 100% guaranteed. If you're choosing to train that way, right? It should not be hard. So it leads me to believe that guys are fucking around. They're action faking. They're program hopping. They're going from one extreme to the next. They're trying to alter routines that they have no experience with. They're watching a million different videos rather than getting started. They take breaks left and right. They're using improper form. They don't push themselves hard in the gym. They half-ass. Because it's not fucking normal to have plateaus with small numbers. It isn't. You're doing something wrong. Straight up. Because if you're having trouble right now, just imagine how it's going to be when you're intermediate or advanced, when the real plateaus kick in, when you have real muscular weaknesses, and now meticulous programming is required. Imagine that. You put in so much effort to get so little. That's what the future awaits if you can get past this phase, which you should, right? So right now, to be telling me that you're struggling as if you were an advanced lifter makes no fucking sense whatsoever. It baffles my mind. So this leads me to believe that there are three things going on, okay? First of all, maybe you're not a novice lifter anymore. Ever thought about that? Maybe because of your anthropometry and weight, you're an intermediate. But you're trying to base it off the 2-plate bench, 3-plate squat, 4-plate deadlift, which I still believe is accurate for most of you, right? But maybe you're a little bit below that amount and you're struggling big time, right? Okay. So switch to an intermediate program. Your plateau will be eradicated like this. Stop trying to milk a system that you know is no longer appropriate for you, okay? So in a lot of cases, not even the fact that you're a novice. Although the example I gave previously about the 135 bench, yes, you're still a fucking novice. I don't care what you weigh, okay? Yes. But if you're stuck on a 185 bench or 200-pound bench, and maybe you have a 6'5" wingspan, but you're a lot shorter than that, right? Okay, maybe you are an intermediate. Maybe you should just change it up. Or what if you're really, really short and you don't weigh a lot and you're stuck in the 300s on the deadlift? You're not quite the 4-plate mark yet. Okay, maybe you should switch it up, all right? That's where common sense comes into play. So in some cases, yeah, you're past that stage, okay? So let's factor that in, right? Now, in the event where you actually are a legitimate novice, if you're at the earliest possible stages, there should be no fucking plateaus, straight up. If you're late novice, okay, there's a few things that might be going on. I would say nutrition is probably the main factor because when you first started off, you didn't have to pay so much attention to it, right? Just the fact you're running a good program, you made gains no problem. Hard work was enough, right? But eventually you started plateauing the gym. Not because of the routine, but because you never had good nutrition in the first place. So that needs to be addressed. Whatever method you decide to use. I recommend you check out my nutrition playlist and get all your numbers on point. Protein, it's very basic, 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, right? More than enough. Calories, eating a small little surplus. See my video, lean bulking is the answer, okay? For sleep, get quality amounts. There's not much for me to say in regards to that. Shouldn't have problems. If you're actually gaining weight on a consistent basis, you're fine, nutrition-wise. But you have to make sure that your thing's on point right now. A lot of you guys are just winging it. You're just eating whatever the fuck you want. And now you're blaming the program. You're blaming your genetics. Well, it's just the fact that you lack accountability for the diet. A good suggestion as well is to track temporarily, just to see where you're at, okay? So food is a really, really, really big one, especially for those who are naturally skinny. It's always the same motherfuckers. It's always the guys with ripped abs. Those who practically look shredded. They're lean as fuck. It's always them. Not always, actually, but majority of times, it's the guys who want to stay lean year-round and they're not gaining weight for shit. Those are the guys who plateau a lot. The chubbier dudes, fuck, they're flying. They tend to surpass the novice phase in no time flat because they already got the appetite down. So now they just got to follow a good program. And that leads me on to my final point. Follow a good routine. It's 2019, guys. There are so many novice programs available that I don't even know where to begin. You could run mine. Had lots of testimonials in regards to that. Look at your great gains. You can do a concurrent routine if you choose to. I don't think there's a lot of them available at the moment, though. And fuck, maybe I should write a complete dedicated one where it's like 12 to 15 months of all the programming, where you don't have to do jack shit in terms of thinking, since a novice is very basic anyway in training, right? So, hey, let me know if you want a program like that, right? Just all laid out. Otherwise, you can customize it yourself. But one of the things I do see with novices is that they tend to overcomplicate everything. They tend to use very difficult exercise selection when they don't have to. They try to fuck around with stuff like 10 by 10, okay, or 8 sets of 8. They're doing all these set rep parameters that they don't fucking need right now. So just keeping it basic, okay? So you can do concurrent, keep it standard. Your 5 by 5, your 3 sets of 8 to 12, okay? You have to do max effort method if you choose to. You can do your standard peak set, followed by back off sets. That works fine. Keep it simple. Or if you're going to do a bro split, or a push-pull legs, or an upper lower, whatever fuck routine you like, make sure there's a progression model built into it, whatever that may be, okay? It could be basic linear progression, it could be linear periodization, it can be concurrent periodization, whatever gets you results, whatever allows you to be consistent, okay? But there's so many programs these days that you should not have prompts. The only way you're going to struggle with the programming is if you're running some garbage routine that a guy on tons of drugs would utilize, perhaps. Something that is totally not appropriate for you right now. Maybe you're trying to train as an advanced lifter, but you're not. So those are really the main factors, honestly. I think, one, a lot of guys are messing around. They're not taking their training seriously whatsoever. Action fakers, 100%. Also the fact that a lot of these guys aren't even novices. When their numbers start approaching a certain amount, they've already tapped out their newbie gains, so they got to switch it up ASAP. And then the other two things is, the food. No accountability. And then the training, running garbage routines. So those are my honest thoughts on novice plateaus. Tough love. But I hope that this message reaches those who are really struggling, okay? And hope that you're not offended by what I'm saying either. Because sometimes the truth stings a little bit, right? But that's what it is. In comparison to what awaits for you in the future, right now, it's so easy to make gains. And you'll know that I'm right when you become an advanced lifter. Oh, you'll look back and be like, fuck. That guy Alex Malfidesny, he was on point. So, there are no excuses. Stop blaming your genetics. Let's be accountable for all the factors I discussed in this video. And make the best gains of your damn life. Because now is the time. Now is the time where you're actually going to succeed. And you're going to get serious results. So let's do it. Let's stop fucking around. By 2020, I want you guys getting out of that novice phase, all right? Let's get it, guys. Let's fucking get it. So that said, I'll see you around. If you got more questions about novice programming, let me know.